Hello, my name is Daye Erikosima, photographer and filmmaker based in Port Harcourt. Now today I'll be showing you how I curated some photos I took last year December of my friend and client Jessica in Lagos State. For today's class, we'll be using the Lightroom application for our color grading. Now there are several other applications you could use, which are Capture One, Camera Raw, and lots of them, but today we'll be using Lightroom. Now let's head on to it.
Now the first thing I would do here, I would just adjust my tab so I can see my picture really clearly. Now I would go to my transform tab and set the picture to look straight. I usually use auto, the picture looks straight. Then on my optics, I remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections to remove that vignetting. So I'll just then go straight to my basic panel where I have my exposure, contrast, highlights, and just do my basic color correction on the image. Let me brighten my screen. Okay, so now we can notice that there are a bit of strong highlights here around the bed sheet. It's almost overblown. I shot this with window light coming in from the left hand side. So I'm just going to take down my highlights so I can bring back those details and take down my whites. Okay, and I'll bring up my shadows, but very slightly. Take down my blacks. We can see that it's clipping around there, so I take it back up so I don't lose any details. Then I'm going to put in a bit of contrast to the picture so you can pop a little bit. I usually like to take down my clarity so my picture isn't so punchy, especially for brides. Don't want them to look too strong, and I don't need to really do much of my exposure. Put a bit of the vibrance to the image, and we can see that. Let's see the before and after so we can compare what it was and what it is now. So this is where I'm heading from, and this is where I am at currently. Okay, so now we'll just check the temperature to make sure that our white balancing is correct. You select a white point and it will usually automatically white balance for you, but you can also manually set it to what you want it to be so you don't have funny tones. So I don't like the reddish tone the tint give it, so I'll just reset it. Okay, now that we are done with our color correction, I'm going to head on straight to color grading. Okay, now so in our color grading panel, we use our tone curves, we use our HSL and the color grading platform that Lightroom has given us. So I'll take it one at a time. Now, starting from the tone curve, I'd use the what they call this particular one, the parametric curve to adjust a few things. I'll soften my whites, soften my shadows as well, rather my darks, bring in the shadows, let it be a bit contrasty, and my lights, bring down my lights, but only very slightly. Okay, let's turn that off and on, see what I did. Okay, our shadows are significantly softer now, so I like that look. Then I'm going to head on to our RGB curve. The top side stands for white, the down side stands for black. So when we take the curve upwards, we're adding whites to our image. Take it downwards, we're adding blacks to our image. So now I'm going to make a 5-point curve for my adjustments. I'll bring up my shadows on this side, bring down my highlights. Alright, I'll bring up my blacks, take down my shadows, create a neutral point around here to restore that so I don't have too much of a contrast. Okay, that's a bit. Okay. Then on my right side, take it up slightly and bring it down here. Okay, so then my image is looking a bit too contrast. I'm going to take on my contrast. So I have a soft looking image. Remember, I like my picture looking really soft. So I'm just going to head on to my luminance panel and take away the yellows. I want my picture to look really, really white, clean. So take away the yellows in the dress and in the bed sheets so you can have that clean white look. Then I'm going to darken her skin slightly. In the luminance panel, darken her skin to emphasize that melanin. Then slightly saturate it. Okay, on my hues channel, I go to my reds, push it a bit towards oranges, my yellows towards oranges as well. I don't have any blues or magenta in these images, so I don't really think there's much to work on here. I don't think there's much work. There's no references from all these colors. So now we have done this so far. Just that slightly, it's a bit too much for me. Okay, now that I'm done with this as a panel, I head on to my color grading. On my midtones channel, I take down my luminance as well. Go to my shadows, bring that as well. Let's restore our contrast. And on our whites, we pop up a bit of a white. Let's have that beautiful look. Alright. Now I don't want to add any colors in my color grading panel. I will just add those in my curves. Let me close the rest of these ones so I don't have trouble with them. Okay, I'm going to move ahead to my calibration channel. Shape the green tint slightly. Shape the blue primary the other way slightly. To accentuate our brown feel. So primarily I like giving my photos a brown tone. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to make this preset available for use with the link in the description. So anytime you need to use it, you can always reference it. So I'm taking my saturation down a bit. Looks a bit too much. Just my vibrance. Okay, let's look at our before and after so we can see how far we've come from what it was to what we are at now. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my highlights up back, but not too much. Okay, let me head on to my blue curve. I'm still going to make a 5-point curve. I'm gonna add some blues in my blacks. Bring down a bit more. Okay. Add some blues to my whites. Not too much. Bring down. Okay. Head out to my green curve. Do the same thing. 5-point curve. Add some greens to my blacks. Just a little bit in the highlights. Just take this down as well, slightly. So you can see that we're not doing too much of an edit, just slight changes here and there to give us that desired feel. Head on to my red channel at the same 5-point. Well, here I'm gonna drag it down, not too much still. I'll do that. Bring it up and drag here down. Okay, now I'm getting closer to what I want. take it up slightly. No, rather downwards. Okay, beautiful. Now I totally love this look. I'm loving it. So I'm just gonna make a few more adjustments in my vibrant, take it down, because now our image looks a little saturated. Take that down and then make it a color a hue shift on my reds towards my oranges, so I have balanced tones. And with that, I'm done. So you see, it's not so difficult, in just simple steps. You're not doing too much, and we've gotten a beautiful result. Now we can just apply this across different images and see how it works on each and every one of them. Okay, let me just apply it across. Control Shift S to synchronize your edits, and I always take the exposure off so I don't have exposure problems. Okay, synchronize. So let's do each and every one of them and see whether there's any adjustments made. On this end, we don't have too much for an adjustment. I will just brighten it up just slightly, ever so slightly. And on the other picture, the same thing, we're just brightening it up slightly. And in both cases, we should transform our images, make it upright, so it doesn't it looks good. The software might not be able to see an upright transform here, but let's see that it worked. Well, it's pretty close, but not too close still. Okay, so with that, we are done with our color grading for these images. Is any other thing you need to do, I'll take it down to Photoshop to finalize the skin retouching and everything. If you want me to make a video on that, just comment make a comment in the comment section, and I'll attend to that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching until this point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and share, somebody you think may need this. And if you need the preset, you can always I'll make the preset available in the comment section, a link to the preset as well, so you can always easily yell on images. All right, thank you and goodbye.